we're going to simplify numbers using I. Problem number 2, square root of negative 2. Step 1, separate the negative from the positive. So, well, how do you do that? Would you agree that 2 times negative 1 is negative 2? Yes or no? Do you agree on that? 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Now, I talk about gel cell. Like this is a gel cell. Okay, that's my theme for this when I teach this. So this positive 2 is going to have to be in a different gel cell than this negative 1. So separate them, 1 for the positive, 1 for the negative. So we got 2 little gel cells here. 1 for the positive and 1 for the negative 1. What is the square root of negative 1? I took like a whole 10 minutes to explain what square root of negative 1 is. What is square root of negative 1? I. Square root of negative 1 is I. And then the square root of 2, you can just leave it alone because it's going to give you a decimal. That is the answer to this question. To simplify it, and it's square root of 2i. That's the answer. Let's go. Round number 3. Step 1. Separate the positive from the negative. That's step number 1. So, what goes inside of the first square root? 12. 12 is correct. What goes inside the second one? Negative 1. You already know that that's going to become, that's imaginary right there. Now, here's the next thing where people, again, this is about math and how it builds on itself and everything. And here we go. You need to memorize these numbers. I'm going to give them to you right now. Write them down. These numbers are going to be 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. What's the next number? Somebody, what's the next number? 36. What's the next number? 49. What's the next number? 64. What's the next number? Yeah, this is bad. 81. Thank you. Thank you. What's the next number? Yeah, this is why math is so hard. And that's what I'm saying. You just gotta know this. Look, look, look. Look at those numbers. Look at those numbers. Look at these numbers right here. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 196, 225, 256, 296. I'm just throwing numbers out there? No, I'm not. There's a pattern to this. 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 4. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 6 squared. 7 squared. 8 squared. 9 squared. 10 squared. So, like in life, not everything is perfect. And somebody got wrongfully convicted and got thrown in jail here. Somebody should not be in jail. And one of these numbers that's inside of here is one of these numbers here. It's one of these numbers. Which number is it that it's inside of 12? That is one of these numbers. Which one do you think it is? 4 is inside the jail. He should be out. Why? Because 12 is the same as what is 4 times 3? 4 times 3 is 12. And what is the square root of 4? If you want me to rewrite 4, that 4 is the same as 2 squared. What's going to happen between the square and the square root? cancels out, so the 2 comes out. He needs to get out. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 square root of 3. This one's gonna rot in, Joe. He's never coming out. This one is what? Well, he might come out, but come out dead. All right, so that's the answer. Here we go. Look, separate the positive from the negative. Get that one person out. He's wrongfully convicted. 4 times 3. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 root 3i. All right. Next. You do one. Let me see if you can do one now. I kind of pretty much taught everything you need to know. Can you apply it? Can you do it by yourself now? Can you do a problem? All right, because this is a Monday, we got to get going with this. Negative 3 is outside. It's outside. Separate the positive from the negative. Square root of 36 times square root of negative 1. What's the square root of 36? 6. And then it's going to become free. Square root of 36 is 6. Times it by negative 3 times square root of negative 1. 6 is a free number, but he comes out of there and starts mingling with bad people. Might go back in there. Oh no. Negative 3 times 6. What's negative 3 times 6? Negative 18. So it's going to be negative 18. And what's the square root of negative 1? All right, 5, let's go to number 5. Five is a free number. Let's just get going. 5 is a free number. Separate the negative from the positive. 18 times square root of negative 1. Impress me, impress the class. There is a wrongfully convicted number. What is that wrongfully convicted number that I need to put right here times that? What's that number? 9 and 2 is correct. Who said 9 and 2? 9 and 2, 9 and 2. It's 9 and 2. And when people go, hey, I know those numbers. What numbers? 6 and 3. They go 6 and 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Yes, you know how to multiply, but you're not a good lawyer. This guy, you're trying to get somebody that can't come out. He can't come out. The one that can come out is 9 and 2. 9 can come out, not 6 and not 3. What is the square root of 9?
3.
So it became free. I'm going to skip a step already because I got to get going. Square root of 9 became 3. Now it became free. 3 times 5 is? 15. Square root of 2. And what's the square root of negative 1? I. All right. Can we add complex numbers? Let's go. Let's continue because this is a Monday. We don't have that much time. It's telling you to add right here. Just adding these numbers. So you're only gonna add the real part with the real part, and then add the imaginary with the imaginary. So what is the real? What's the real part? 8 plus 2 is 10. And the imaginary, what is the answer going to be? 7i. Treat the I like an X. So there's 3i plus 4i is 7i. All right. Next, let's go. Number 7. And if you don't know how to add negatives and positives here, you got a calculator. You got a calculator if you don't even know. What's the answer? What's negative 2 plus 4?
2.
So be 2 and then what's 3 minus 6i? 3 plus a negative 6i is the be what? What is the negative what?
Negative 3i.
2 minus 3i? All right, subtracting complex numbers. And here's where people mess up as well, right here. This is where people mess up. What we're doing here is we're subtracting. We're subtracting this from this. So the steps are that you're going to have to distribute that negative sign or this minus sign. So I have to distribute this into each one. And there's an invisible 1 here. So we're going to distribute. Negative 1 times 7, we're multiplying. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. And then a negative times a negative. Negative times a negative is a what? What's a negative times a negative? Positive what?
4.
Bring down, just bring this down. Negative 2 plus 3i. Then combine like terms. Negative 2 minus 7. What's negative 2 minus 7? Negative 9. And then we got what? 3i plus 4i. What is it? All right, let's do one more, number 9. Continue. There's an invisible one in the distribute. That's going to be negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Negative 1 times 3i is going to be negative 3i. Bring this down without the parentheses. Combine like terms. 9 minus 2 is negative what? Negative 11i. See, I don't know. That's why I'm like, there's nothing wrong in what I'm teaching, and I don't think there's different ways of teaching. This is just as clear as can be taught. The problem is you don't know how to do negatives and positives. That's the problem. It's not this. It's that you just don't. You haven't figured that out. You don't have that code in your head. Other than this is not very difficult. It's just. Let's continue. We got 15 minutes to finish multiplying. We got 10 minutes. Multiplying complex numbers. The numbers multiply. 5 times 7? 35. The imaginaries are multiplied. The I times the I. What is I times I? I squared. What is I squared? Let's see. Does anybody know what I squared would be? What do you think I squared is? That is correct. Because y is a negative 1. Well, I don't know if you got lucky, but maybe not. You do. What was I? What is I? I is what? Square root of negative 1, isn't it? Yes or no? That's what by definition I is, no? So what I have here is I squared. So if I square it here and I square it here, then I have I squared. And I squared will equal to, well, the square and the square root cancels out, and the answer is negative 1. Yes or no? So this is negative 1. So this is negative 1 times 35. What's negative 1 times 35? What's negative 1 times 35? Negative. All right. 11. Let's go ahead and do number 11. What's the answer to 11? It's positive 18, isn't it? Because it's going to be negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. I times I is I squared. I squared is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 18. A negative times a negative is a positive 18. Yes? This is the last one we're doing. This is the last problem we're doing. Let's go ahead and copy it down. We got 8 minutes. Put a star right next to it. This is gonna be a problem on the test. There's gonna be a problem like this on the test for sure. So you better know how to do this. All right? It's just the rainbows. 6 times 4? 6 times negative 3i? Six times negative 3i? Negative 5i times 4? Negative 20i? Negative times a negative? Negative times a negative is a positive. 5 times 3 is 15. I squared, because I times I is I squared. Bring down the 24. These are like terms right here. What's the answer to this? What's negative 18i and negative 20i? Negative 38i. Negative 38i. And this one, I squared is what? Negative 1. Negative 1 times positive 15 is what? Negative 15. Now we can combine this one, the real, with this real. What is 24 minus 15? What's 24 minus 15? 9. So it's going to be 9 minus 38i. And that is the answer right there. You can't combine. This is real, that's imaginary. That's the final answer. Yeah. Yeah. Do that problem. Do that problem. See if you imagine that's the test question. Let's see if you can do that one. That's. Imagine this is the test question. See if you, and then I'll give you the answer. While I'll go get the homework and give you the homework because we run out of time. And that's it for.